Hundreds of years ago, the brilliant minds of the world considered flight through the air as if we were birds to be impossible. Only in the past 100 years have these winged machines been created. The hallmark first flight of the Wright brothers has inspired many brilliant minds to become involved in and develop the field of aviation. One of those brilliant minds was a young machinist named Frederick Rentschler. Rentschler would develop a unique passion for airplanes and flight, one that would lead him to building up a small machine tool company called Pratt & Whitney.
He was a quiet person. He was a leader. He had, he had the family connections, which enabled him, which got him the financial backing for the things he did.
It took a determined leader to build up a company which boasted such a strong and established legacy. Chief among that legacy would be leading the charge of the U.S.'s success in air during World War II. Through unwavering determination and leadership, Rentschler willed Pratt & Whitney to become the preeminent leader in a field that many top intellectuals said to be doomed to failure. Before Pratt & Whitney even existed, when World War I kicked off, Rentschler joined the Army as a first lieutenant, later getting promoted to a captain. There he was assigned to inspect the revolutionary Hispano-Suiza aircraft engines manufactured at the Wright-Martin plant in New Brunswick, New Jersey. This was his introduction to the aviation field. After helping lead the U.S. to a successful effort in World War I, he left the Army to pursue his true passion. He had a vision of a revolutionary air-cooled engine that many balked at. In fact, he resigned from his post as president of the Wright Aeronautical Corporation for lack of support of the air-cooled engine. In 1925, Rentschler pitched the air-cooled engine to the Pratt & Whitney machine tool company located in Hartford, Connecticut. They decided to back him, effectively becoming the Pratt & Whitney Aviation Company, and the rest is history. Rentschler's innovation wouldn't stop there. He quickly penned his air-cooled radial engine, the Wasp. This engine was unlike any other. It weighed less than 650 pounds, 300 pounds less than the liquid-cooled behemoths. It had top-of-the-class 425 horsepower. After passing qualifications in 1926, the Navy ordered 200 of these engines, a huge order at the time. With only a year into production, Rentschler engineered his next marvel, a new engine called the Hornet, in order to supply the Navy a larger engine. This engine was 525 horsepower, even more powerful than the Wasp. The fact that Frederick Rentschler could produce a new engine that was significantly better than the other ones on the market and in such little time shows how dedicated Rentschler was to the business. He started his own company up from the ground and produced 200 military-ready engines at no time at all. Rentschler was not only interested in being in the military plane business, though, as he saw a big future for commercial plane flights. He then created the United Aircraft and Transport Corporation, which he was the president of. He hoped to be one of the first to make a coast-to-coast airplane service, and in the 1930s, Rentschler achieved his goal with the new company. In 1929, the two largest figures in aviation, Pratt & Whitney's Rentschler and Boeing's William Boeing, decided to strategically align in all aspects of aviation. This new company they created, the United Aircraft and Transport Corporation, quickly asserted its dominance upon American aviation. Their company grew uncontrollably, even acquiring the number one producer of helicopters, Sikorsky. In 1934, the U.S. government felt their complete dominance in the field of aviation was simply not fair, and antitrust laws forced Boeing Aircraft to split, and Rentschler became chairman and CEO of the new United Aircraft Corporation, now United Technologies, one of the current leaders of aviation. Mr. Rentschler's finest hours would come when the nation needed him most.
Because they wanted us to focus purely on winning the war.
Tragedy struck twice, and a second world war had started. It was clear this time around that owning the air could make or break the war for a country.
There's many stories of Air Force pilots that got into trouble, and because of the durability of the Pratt & Whitney engines, they were able to get back to base. In one case, there was a B-24, a four-engine airplane, and they lost an engine, and which was shot out, and they thought they, they kept up with the rest of the fleet for a while, and then they lost a second engine, and now they had to drop out of the fleet, and they made it all the way back to England on just two engines and landed the plane safely. But there's many stories of the durability of the Pratt & Whitney engines.
Frederick Rentschler firmly believed the engine is the key to air superiority. The engine would be key to fending off the Axis powers.
They produced, I think, on the order of 350,000 engines for the war effort.
This was a game changer. The Allies won in large part due to their unheralded success in air. After the war, Rentschler didn't settle for his astoundingly successful status quo. Being the leader and innovator he is, he looked toward the future and recognized the emergence of the jet engine business. Rentschler had Pratt & Whitney produce the Turbo Wasp jet engines. These engines were used in the top-of-the-line jet fighters in the Air Force, such as the Starfire fighters. The engine that set apart Pratt & Whitney from all the rest of the companies, however, was the revolutionary J57 jet engine.
That was our J57 engine, and that was the engine that brought Pratt & Whitney into the jet engine business.
The designer of the J57, Leonard Hobbs of Pratt & Whitney, won the prestigious Collier Trophy given to the most significant aviation achievement of 1952. The J57 proved twice as much thrust as any other jet engine on the market. It was featured in the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress, which was a strategic airplane that was used significantly during the Cold War. Later, the J57 engine was used in commercial planes for faster travel. Throughout his life, Frederick Rentschler won numerous awards such as the French Legion of Honor for excellence in military conduct and the Air Force's Civilian Service Award. As a pioneer in the development, research, and manufacture of aircraft engines, he provided multiple huge leaps in the quality of military and commercial plane engines, and revolutionized the engineering behind flight. He has vision of what he wanted to do, and through his leadership, he was able to work with others and use his own companies to turn his visions into a reality. Playing pivotal roles in a number of important wars, Frederick Rentschler was a key figure in America's development. Rentschler left a resounding legacy with Pratt & Whitney, who continue to innovate to this day. In 1999, Pratt & Whitney even donated a decommissioned airfield to Yukon to use as their football field, which they aptly named Rentschler Field. Rentschler's little belief that he could make a better air-cooled engine created a dynasty that would power the flights of luminaries such as Charles Lindbergh, Amelia Earhart, and Jimmy Doolittle. Rentschler died April 25, 1956, but the member of the National Aviation Hall of Fame's legacy will remain with us for years to come.